like a joint nice, but they were
Didn't
all
go
over
so
the place. More of you now think that DZ is going to win than did before the match started, and DZ is down a map. So I don't really know how that one works out for you. First band coming in now from Team 1 as they start on defense here on Theme Park. Osa removed from action. Thatcher will join. Next defender, or first defender, next operator is oNe. So he won't be in play for either of the maps that we see today. Same with Thatcher. If Clubhouse is required, we'll let you know if he's removed from action there too. Last defender band, you want to take a prediction?
I'll take Kaid. I was wrong.
You were wrong.
Melusi, honestly, I would have never guessed that in a million years. I was thinking with Thatcher ban, Kaid's like a Giga Brain ban operator ban because then the walls can get opened up again. But of course, we do have Maverick at our disposal. Melusi is the last operator to get banned out, and that's just going to help you with the staircases, right? The banshees are most commonly put on a staircase or an entryway towards the bomb side. That's going to mean the attackers have a little bit of an easier time to figure that out, but it's not going to be a game breaker. oNe, of course, is going to make all those fortifiable positions a little bit less safer because you can stack both the magnets and the ADSs. And the Osa, that's a target ban coming out from the side of Team 1. They might figure that DarkZero likes to bring this operator on this particular map, or at the very least, they fear the possibility of it, so instead, they remove it from play. DC hasn't shown Theme Park at this event, which means, well, we don't have a lot to go off of from this like immediate future or immediate present, or past, should I say.
That's the one.
That's the one. That's
you
the past. I went through all three. The last one's the one. We got it in the end. Aruni, though, seeing some play, so the gates are being utilized here. Cafe door, of course, one of those, and Cafe windows will follow up. So clearly, Team 1, they have a big preference on this area of the map, as a Valkyrie camera also follows Troop in that same room.
Teams will deliberately conceal certain maps to get to playoffs. It'll be the quarterfinals, semis, etc., and bring it out at the most advantageous position. We saw that with XSET the other day. This is a nice run out, and oh, he actually gets it. Dash start things off with a kill on the Canadian. Goodness gracious, things have not changed. You can change the map, but you're not going to change the playstyle.
I know this is really early, but Dash is an absolute monster. And sure, we only seen one map and now the first round, but the aggression, the confidence every single time, and the worst part of it all, it keeps working. DC are not shutting down this particular player or punishing Team 1 from being overly aggressive time and time again. And it's Stoke AP off the board. That's one of their key operators. You are hoping to get a kill with the Jackal maybe, find that phone from the fallen defender, then hack the camera or hack the phone and get access to those cameras instead. But now, that's completely gone.
I guess the one good thing is that there's no Jaeger on the board. oNe is banned. And the Dokkaebi died with 3 flashbangs in pocket, so you only really need to worry about the Aruni of Maya. That's true. When it comes to that device denial, or the laser gates will eat up whatever you throw through it, including drones, or do some damage to you should you run through it at the wrong time. The Jackal of Hyper's now dropped in as an Adrenal Surge goes off. It tops Hyper up to almost full HP as he'd lost some in the process. Halfway point of this round. Bit of a
Dots
pause.
and Panzer, they're waiting. They're trying to find each other.
They are. They're just playing the waiting game right now. And Pambazoo, though, he misses out on Maya and almost getting his life taken down. A grenade goes off, and now through the soft wall, there's Jackal pings. Again, this was an issue for DZ in the very first map. Their guns were not that great. Pambazoo redeems himself. Down goes Lagonis, traded out by Maya. Maya watches some of the ceiling above get blown to pieces by the hammer of Sledge. NJR still in that position and now uses his gun to great effect. Maya doesn't get away. A chase from these teams. Dots is quite far off site, inside a lab. The Jackal of Hyper not too far away from him. Still holding very crucial map control. Dots could be spotted from all of that ceiling being shot away. Hyper's focus is elsewhere. Oh, and they run into each other. A jump scare for Hyper. A bit of a sassy look towards the camera. An easy kill for Dash now as that's Diffuser surrendered by Eclipse. What a mess of a first round, Nick. 30 seconds to go. Absolutely,
and now, I mean, it's kind of even, but the thing is, defenders, of course, have the bomb site in DC. They've just now got Diffuser case control again, but they have no information, and they can't really play together. They're so far away from one another, they have to win those 1v1s.
Dash is sitting behind the throne. A smoke will go off. Doesn't need to look in that direction. Rise is the other side of it towards this split. The long gun barrel of Jackal is in, but they don't have any information. NJR cooking a nade. It'll be good enough to go, but Rise collapses on the final 2 players. Team One start off DZ's map with a big first round victory.
That they do, but the biggest thing here is the momentum or mental game. And if you're DC and you lose the first map the way you did, not just in terms of like scoreline, but how brutal those rounds were. And this is how your second map, your map starts off with the spawn peak from Dash, and then you guys just crumbling and falling apart at that tail end in that last 40 seconds. That's not looking too well, and I fear for DarkZero that they might need to burn the timeout earlier than they would like to, just to try and keep it themselves inside of this game, because mental, confidence are all big words that you need as a player inside of these rounds, inside of these moments, because a fraction of a second, you make the wrong decision or you don't act correctly, you're gone. And that's what we saw from multiple members that round. Pambasu with a slight hesitation, then Maya gets away, doesn't get found out, and then shuts down Panda 20 seconds later. It's tough.
Well, I mean, you have a Jackal and you have drones, and yet you seem to be surprised by the location of every player on Team One. Not exactly what is so confidence-inspiring out of DarkZero, who, as you said going into this matchup, they have the most executes and most objectives of any team. That usually means you have a good understanding of where your opponents are if you're getting the diffuser down 14 times, which is now at 16 because of the 2 diffusers that were planted all the way back on Cafe.
Yeah, I mean, the statistic is that if you can plant that many times, that means you get to the execution phase very frequently and with very high success once you get there. And we're not seeing that. The 2 times DC got into a plant position, they won those rounds on Cafe. But then when the plant didn't go down, well, they didn't really win those rounds either unless they're just clutching left and right. So they need to find stability in the first minute and a half in these rounds. You know, come out even or ahead, and then we can talk about the execute, because you can't just go towards the bomb site first. You have to deal with all these problems in these locations that Team One are choosing to contest and choose to play in.
It's a minute almost off of the clock. DarkZero still looking for drone work, and discovery is, we call this the discovery phase of the round. Bomb site is over in office. So first floor, thrown, that was the first attempt for Team One. It was successful. Now they'll go upstairs and roam over by Cafe and at the top of Arcade. Ooh. Already, this Saruni opened up. Grenades will go in, some damage to DarkZero, both Pambasu and Canadian shrugging off whatever blows found their way. Canadian now under fire yet again. Hyper finds himself inside of Arcade, the main lobby component. A grenade will go onto the stairs. There's a warden to slow peek him, but Hyper misses some of the shots. NJR goes down, but Hyper essentially baits out and then trades his teammate. Now Pambasu, the one dealing some damage in. Hyper takes down Maya. On Repel, there was the ace of Canadian. DZ spread out. They've picked off 2 players from Team One, but they have so much more to do. They've got just a little bit less than half the round to accomplish it.
And honestly, if you're DarkZero, it's not bad to trade 1 for 1, because that beats losing a member for nothing. So honestly, a worthy trade for them. In terms of value of the operatives that they killed, Warden and Aruni, not a huge steal. You have no smoke grenades left, no flashbangs, actually not even any grenades from DarkZero, but they do have 5 drones. So they have information. They'll have to use that, figure out the locations of the last remaining defenders. But then again, the defenders, they have 2 C4s and a single toxic babe left. So utility is really lopsided in this situation. With 40 seconds to go, it's anyone's round still.
Nitro sells to deny a potential plant. DZ were quick in that second round on Cafe, but there's Dots. He exploits a blind spot, takes down Eclipse, another one there as well. Nitro Cell cannot be pulled too early. It goes out and it doesn't do any damage. Might have even been shot as no explosive is heard. Just around the corner, Pambasu comes in and Dots is feeling one today. Dots was exceptional on Cafe, and it doesn't seem to have slowed down one bit. Hyper looks to the left, Dots knows he's to the right. Down goes Canadian, Hyper falls as well. DarkZero in trouble. Team One have full control of the series at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, this is looking brutal. Even when they get the 1-man advantage, DC still gets stopped dead in their tracks the moment that Team One starts swinging them and start contesting. You see Dots, the fact that he gets away with it, not just once, not just twice, but 3 times in a single round with nobody ready to contest the angle, that is not a good look. So DC, we gotta now, again, focus up. And I spoke earlier, actually 1 round ago, I fear for DC that their tactical timeout has to be burnt early on, because you gotta stay inside this game mentally. Round 2 just ended. They're taking a tactical timeout.
I mean, their mental didn't recover after map number 1. That much is clear. If, while they take the timeout, we can. Let's talk about Theme Park. With the 4 plays that we've seen of it here at this major, 62% of the rounds won by the defense. That is exceptionally lopsided. Now, leading the way is that lab bomb site down below at a 100% win rate for the defense, but it's only been played 3 times. So look for a 3-site rotation to come in. But guess what bomb site Team 1 has locked in right now? Lab storage. So a 4th time this bomb site will be played here at Charlotte. So far, again, the defense are at 100%. The 2 bomb sites before that, round number 1 was on Throne. 79% of the time the defense wins, and it is the 2nd most played bomb site. It is extremely tough for the attackers to puncture that bomb site and get the diffuser planted, even if DZ are the best objective-based team here at the event. Second was Initiation and Office upstairs, and it's a coin toss bomb site. 44% of the time it gets won by the defense, 56% for the attackers. So again, Team 1 beating the average on one bomb site, doing the average on the other, and now they go to their tertiary bomb site that never really gets played, and it's been good for the defense so far through what we see at the Charlotte Major, but only 3 times. 4th time a charm. We'll see for Team 1.
We'll certainly see, and the reason why this bomb site has such a high success rate, typically when it is played, even though that being rare, is because you can play the entire map on the defensive side. One person can hold down both bomb sites, then extend up above, extend to Armory Throne. And you see right now on this top-down view, there are members of Team 1 everywhere across the map, vertical holes being laid, lines of sight horizontally, Valkyrie cameras, frost traps. They have so many different ways to contest the members of DarkZero, and it's why they use their attack and repick on the attacking side to get this operator lineup. It's very flexible. It's very much like a let's roam clear situation, right? The Jackal, the Doka AP, and of course Hyper down IQ to try and deny the information game from Team 1. They're kind of mapping out the layout right now from this rooftop. Hyper's talking to his team saying, Valkyrie came over here, Laser Gate over there, and you're starting to get an idea of how much presence there is at a given moment in these particular rooms. And as we can see, there are members here to contest once DarkZero starts making their entry.
I wonder if DarkZero will have some troubles with the lack of hard breach on their side of things. They've only got really 2 sets of explosives in both the Sledge's nades and the Zophia's lifeline. So you're a bit hard-pressed for soft destruction, and you're especially hard-pressed for hard destruction. But you want to annoy the ever-living hell out of Team 1. There goes the first logic bomb. Dot's involved in the very first scrap, but it's Maya to fall first. There you go. DarkZero's first opening pick since all the way back in round 3 of Cafe.
Dust now under a bit of pressure. Nothing much comes out of it. Of course, Jackal Pink gets a bit of information game. Hammerson making some work with it. C4 gets traded back. Nobody takes damage. Everybody stays alive besides Maya, who got found out earlier in the round a minute ago. This is arguably the best round for DC so far. No one has taken damage. They still have some utility left. You mentioned no hard breach. That is correct. That's the one obstacle, the one area where they might fall short. But so far, if they can trade out effectively 1-for-1, they will be in a good position.
Canadian on the hunt, but doesn't want to give his position away instead. The smoke was primed and ready. It's just going to be a gun duel behind Armory now as the nade goes off, lands in the lap of Dot. Dash under fire. Playing behind this throne, he can't outduel Canadian, walking in. DZ finally showing signs of life. It's Panbazoo to get the kill, even though most of the damage was done by Troy. Lagonis under fire from above. NJR is there. He has no idea. The wherewithal from Team 1, very poor. An otherwise smothering defensive half from Team 1 in Cafe has fallen apart now in this round in particular. DZ gets on the board with a win on Lab.
Not just a win, Parker, a flawless round victory. The first for DC. And well, they needed this mentally, right? They took a timeout, then the 100% defender-sided bomb site came out of Lab stock, and then you get a flawless attack against it with no hard breach whatsoever. That's gotta feel good. That's gonna bring it back. We see Canadian right now, they're getting excited when they won that round, and that's exactly what DC needs more of. Panda didn't crack a smile there. Not too happy with his own performance so far, at the very least not happy with the current situation. And hopefully DC still has time to rectify that situation themselves, as we're gonna see the bomb site rotation really go all 4 ways, as Armory, Office, Lab, and now Daycare bunk beds.
For perspective's sake, The timeout that was taken by DarkZero in map number 1 did not pay off at all. They lost the next 2 rounds and then ultimately lost the map. This time, the timeout leading to a flawless take on a bomb site that has very limited play again. It's only the 4th time that we've seen a team defend that lab bomb site at all here at the Major, and we have played quite a lot of games. This is Theme Park's 5th play as far as I can see from my stats. So of course those numbers are skewed a bit. This time, it's a 4th bomb site. Again, Team 1 did this on Cafe, and now they do it again on Theme Park. They're gonna play every single site on this map as it's bunk and daycare upstairs. Very similar hold that we've seen from Team 1. Favoring that Cafe portion of the map, favoring arcade. It's a very crucial battleground for this map because of that map control and how much you can leverage that towards 3 other bomb sites on Theme Park.
You also need to keep in mind that why is Team 1 always putting a player on the arcade stairs? Because that is a frequent thing. Like every single time you see Rise on the staircase. The reasoning? Well, Melusi is banned by Team 1 themselves. You always have a Banshee, which is Melusi's gadget, on a staircase to ensure that you hear if someone walks up the staircase. The barbed wire is a lot tougher to hear sound cue-wise. So because this operator is not available, we are seeing a crazy amount of presence on the arcade stairs. And of course, you also see a member of this Maya, who's also playing top yellow, again, securing those positions to the map. Canadian walking down below, ratting around, gets the opening goal to Dash, who's the most aggressive player, now dead in the grave.
Dash and Dots have been 2 of the standout performers for Team 1. If they have a sluggish first half, it can make it mighty tough for Team 1 to pick up the pieces on the side swap. Again, Team 1 are on the favorable side here. Maya takes an engagement to NJR, 1-4 Team 1 to even us back into a 4v4. LMG in the hands of Hyper, dealing an abundance of damage to Dots, but now Lagonis is down, Hyper on a tear, putting in a much better performance than we saw out of him on Cafe. So Hyper's woken up, and the rest of DZ seems to be following suit right now as Eclipse gets one of his own. All falling by the wayside. A second kill for Maya keeps things even, but still favoring DarkZero. Positioned by the bomb chassis. You have Team 1 watching the main entry points as DarkZero storm through opposite initiation. Hyper picks up yet another kill, this time onto Dots, and Maya is not long for this Earth. A huge round from Paul, Hyper himself, and DZ have suddenly evened the game.
I believe that basically puts Paul in the same amount of kills he got in all of Cafe, if not more at this point, which really bodes well for DC. NJR not doing too bad himself. 3-3 as he fell in that round to Maya. Pamasu still needing a little bit more time to really truly fire up. You see there Paul really happy knowing that he had a big performance and a big impact in that round on the Fink LMG, finding 4 kills.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many
Well,
bombs as they can.
Lab and Bunk do not work out in their favor, so why not go back over to All Reliable? Team 1 could have gone to this bomb site if they so chose on the last round, but they opted not to do that. A bit of an experiment onto a bomb site that has a 50-50 win rate, which is Bunk Daycare. In this case, attackers came out on top. Smothering is a word I've used to describe Team 1's defenses a number of times, and I think it is accurate based on what we've seen at a Cafe and a little bit on Theme Park, but not quite over those last 2 rounds. DarkZero struggled on the entry. They struggled to get opening picks. They struggled on operator info. They struggled on positioning and location. Then they struggled in the gunfights when they did find the Team 1 players. That was not the case the last 2 rounds.
No.
Team 1, they seem to be getting beat out on this entry. And it looks like the support play of Team 1 falls apart quite quickly if they surrender an early pick or 2. Which goes to show you why teams like Team 1 and W7M, also from Brazil, play so aggressively on defense right now, and it really does work out for them. DZ need to confront the offsite players quickly, or maybe just sprint into the bomb site. Pambazoo on the Nook, he's inside of maintenance. He can rush to the doorway of Throne whenever he so chooses. If there's a pair of eyes from Team 1 in that direction, they'll see him. The door is closed though, reinforced, barricaded up. You're gonna have to shoot that, it'll give away the position of the Nook.
I believe that right now DC is trying to give Pambasu a way into this map and into this game because you want to give him a little bit more freedom. If he says he wants to play a certain operator, the Nook for example, let him do it. Make him feel like he's going to get some impact and some value out of it because Pamba and other operators haven't done anything spectacular. You're giving Canadians so much room by picking this Jackal in the Dogaevi, walking around solo bolo. You can also let Pambasu do that same thing and find success, but it's Hyper once again holding down the fort for DarkZero, 8-2 right now on the board.
Dash had given his position away by that Nitro Cell just a couple seconds earlier, and DarkZero were very happy to greet his aggression with aggression of their own. Now Hyper surges forward, sitting on 8 and 2 kills. A performance like this would have certainly netted a different result, but a drop from PandaZoo now takes out Maya. DZ very close to pushing these offsite players away. But Team One have forces scattered throughout the map still. Dots is inside a connector. That looks to be the only player that's actually in the bomb site, unless Lagonis is in throne. Yes, he is. Could have been over in barrels. Both watching on split. These are the human claymores right now. One on the left side of the door, one on the right side of the door. Rise, he's good as gone. Goodness, what is happening right now is it's Hyper to get the kill, though he wasn't the one to get the down. Dots will have to get aggressive to stop a push. Another flawless for DarkZero is very much possible. There's no Finka in play for DZ, so any damage that's done is permanent. It leaves us with 45 seconds now, everything at a standstill, waiting for DZ to escort that diffuser.
This is why DC is so strong. They're disciplined, right? They're not taking 1v1 combat. They know they have the numbers advantage. Do the vertical, get open the breach, try and find the kite claw, and then you start executing with all 5 members. You don't want to isolate yourself. Playing it beautifully. Now they gotta close out the round as well.
They'll be able to open up the wall that Dots is playing beside and giving his position away. A nice slow peek from Hyper. He gets out dueled, no flawless, but DZ answer back, leaving Lagonis in a do or die, but it's die situation. 3 rounds in a row for DarkZero, they take the lead.
There's life. We see it. And every member of DC now has had something to do on both Cafe and now Theme as well. Panda being granted that flexibility of picking his own operators of choice worked out for him. He had the freedom to be on the rooftop of all places, drop down the hatch and find the second kill in that round. And I think that grants him enough confidence to really say, you know what, I can still shoot back, I can still fight these guys, I just need the right approach. And that actually right there, that is going to force Team One, or make them choose to take a timeout.
I think you have to force them. I mean, you now at best will tie on defense
Yes.
of Theme Park. You should be winning at minimum 4 rounds, maybe 5 rounds on defense of Theme Park to keep with the overall ratio of attacker to defender wins. So Team One have already failed at their objective. Win 4 rounds, you're not gonna get it. Force a timeout because things are getting worse and worse for Team One, it seems like. A flawless round to start off with, okay. Bunk doesn't look that great, but not terrible. Throne was pretty dominant for DarkZero as well, almost a flawless too. They only surrendered a single player. So DZ have warmed up. They took their time out, they shook the cobwebs out of their heads. Whatever pressure was on their shoulder dissipated to some extent. I know that DZ is still playing under that emotional pressure, mental pressure. But Team One are falling behind because in 1 round's time, DarkZero is going to go on to statistically the better side. And on their map, on the better side, should be able to close this one out no problem if things go according to plan. I don't know what the script writers have written for this, but it seems like with DarkZero already taking 3 rounds on attack, that Clubhouse is looking more and more likely, which would be our first third map. G2 and Liquid were done in 2. If you're Team One, you're taking a timeout on the final round of your defense. How much of your focus is going to be on when you move to attack?
I mean, you certainly want to choose what bomb site do you finalize on, because every single bomb site was open to Team One, so they could choose literally for free. They chose this one, the bunk bedrooms bomb site instead. They have the utmost confidence, but as you mentioned, you can't just look at the next round. What about on their attack inside? And we have to question, will Team One be as confident, as aggressive on Theme Park attack? Because it's a difficult challenge. DarkZero themselves, they've done a good job in these past 3 rounds. The one they've been winning at playing confidently, at playing aggressively, mostly based off Hyper, but every single member has to step up and not be afraid to do the entry work, because Theme Park as a map is a bit of a maze. All these corners and hallways and 90-degree angles, if you're not an entry player, if you're not comfortable being aggressive, it's very difficult to walk in anywhere and be like, you know what, I'm probably gonna get a kill. Oh wait, I'm dead. So it's super important that you have somebody leading the charge that believes he can get inside the room and other people can just follow along. I love this here, by the way. They've done it 3 times now. You go below, you block the floor, flashbang, grenade, and you clear out the shield. No nade, I said, no nade, there it is. Nade comes out as well, shield is gone. It's a very safe method of clearing up this position that otherwise is dangerous.
Twitch drone seemed to elude Maya there. Maya's one of the 2 players that's still back in Mexico, so cut them some slack. As we are playing on the land build, by the way, on
Yes, we are.
stage, and the two players from Mexico are still at that same ping that they were at previously, but Team One getting that massive leg up when 3 of their players get visas at the last second. Lagonis could come to blows with the buck down below. Less like Lagoatness right now, as he's 1 and 4. Half of the round ticked away. DarkZero sitting down below in the bottom of Arcade, just waiting ever so patiently. They want clear passage up the top of the stairs. There goes NJR, but the Warden looks in the wrong direction. Lagonis is not quick enough. Rise would need to be the one now. Duel them, and he does! 2 huge kills, but Panbazoo right back on it by taking out Lagonis. Eclipse now the one to take some damage. Aruni Gate is back up. That's the one that Eclipse had dealt with before. His gun deals with Maya instead. Now Canadian behind the deployable shield as DZ own that kill feed. Dash and Rise in a 2v3. That becomes a 1v3 as Rise is down in an 0v3. The first half is DarkZero as they escape 4-2.
And who showed up the most that round? It was Panbazoo, the last remaining member of DC that we haven't seen much from. And in the moment that they needed him, he showed up the most. A 3 versus 5 round that looked like it was a done deal for DarkZero. Well, it gets brought back, and they can now confidently say they're in a great position on Theme Park. And try right there, he shows his emotions as well of how exciting that was for him and his team.
Timeout from Team One, not really paying dividends. A bit of target prioritization was the downfall of Lagonis, as he could have very easily derailed the push-up Arcade stairs before Rise got involved in the action, but was a little bit too slow to it. Either way, the tale of the tapes for the first half. Team One won rounds 1 and 2. DarkZero won the next 4. They did so flawlessly in round 3 and near flawless in round 5. Both timeouts burned in the first half. So there is no parachute for these teams. If things start to go bad for DarkZero, they can't save themselves.
No.
If things continue to go bad for Team One, they can't reset themselves a second time. In terms of opening picks, Team One definitively got 2 opening picks. DarkZero 3 in the second round. Both teams traded immediately. Neither credited with that opening pick. So for both these teams, in terms of actual scoreline, DarkZero by far and away the better team, but it is not as big of a gap as a 4-2 could potentially be. But DZ sure looking more confident, looking more in control of the map than they did after the second round, and certainly more than they did at any point on Cafe.
And take note of how few plans happened there, because on Cafe, well, DarkZero were always trying to get down the diffuser. Now in Theme Park, their goal was never truly to plant. They never been really trying to. It was always about finding kills, keeping up their guns, and keeping up the momentum, because you want to have as many people fighting a single member of Team One as possible, because that's where they thrive. The 1v1s, when Dash can just literally dash around the map and take in gunfights as he pleases, that's when DC falls apart. And now we see DC getting the offensive, getting aggressive, exactly what they were missing on Cafe previously.
Trying to derail the push from Team One to get in. Obviously, DZ far more comfortable on this map, despite the fact that they've concealed it up to this point. So we don't really have any tape to go off of. There's just confidence from DarkZero to hide a map, come in, and play their game. First Rotero drone that we see go out to take care of the hatch, but Rise has already used 2 others. There's only 1 remaining. Canadian around the shield, dusts Maya off. Again, DarkZero with the opening pick. Again, Team One struggle. Dots is down now too. Panbazoo outside. It's a Flores drone to take out Hyper. That's a bit uncommon to see. But still, Team One will trail. Canadian's on low HP, so a single bullet will down him. Dash is on the hunt, looking for the Jaeger of Eclipse. But Dash looks the wrong way. There's Eclipse. They both duel. Eclipse decides to stick around, and he's well past his expiration date.
Slow on HP though, so is Canadian, so it's pretty much even right now, 3v3, or 2.5 versus 2.5, should I say. Pamba in a tough position off the bomb site, no help nearby, knows the position of a player of Team One, or at the very least has an idea. The Prisma will buy him some time. Now Pamba can sit comfortably in this corner, waiting their next move.
With both of these teams at 3 players apiece and 1 minute to go, any stare down from Team One benefits DarkZero. DarkZero doesn't need to go anywhere, they just need to sit and wait. And Team One are far away from being able to get into the bomb site right now. Down goes Rise. Panbazoo is there. Patience rewarded. Still from above. He hasn't surrendered his spot at all. Dash will drop onto this armory tape, but he's gone. NJR assures it. It's Lagonis. Diffuser heralding his entry, and Toxic Canisters will stop him for now. NJR still has 2 of them remaining. There goes the wall. NJR to the left. again, with those toxic canisters, can buy as much time as possible. This is a distraction from Lagonis. And he'll just trudge on through. There's another door in the way. Oh my goodness, you don't see it coming, NJR, but Lagonis is here. He can easily pull it off, but with 10 seconds to go, he's got a plant. Vulnerable for another 3 seconds. It's a drop from Pambazoo. Lagonis gets off looking for kills. Pambazoo shuts the door on that opportunity. The comeback for DZ very real. They've got 5 rounds in a row.
And again, I had to credit the DarkZero's capabilities in 1 versus 2, so 2 versus 2, the discipline. While Panda took that final gunfight, well, his last remaining defending teammate was just hiding in the corner. So if Panda wasn't successful, the timer would run out. You're gonna see right here, Lagonis had a nice injury, a nice distraction. And while this fight was happening, well, there was just no chance DC could throw that round in the bin. They were playing the game of sacrifice. And Panda, well, he was chosen, but he wins every single fight that he picked in that round. And Panda is now, well, not topping the board, but he's almost tying up with Hyper as he's on 8, and Hyper is on 9.
The 3 players on DarkZero to watch are Hyper and Pambazoo, as you talked about, but also NJR. NJR is a very flexible player, and they use him as they need. The big reason why DZ picked up Pambazoo was because they wanted him to be aggressive on entry. Hyper doesn't tend to be as aggressive an entry as you expect. So you get somebody like Pambazoo who can go in and make space. Maybe Hyper follows up and gets some of those kills. But DZ are really flexible on those roles. You can really use them however they want. We see the same from Team 1, by the way. Lagonis will show up, as people do refer to him as Lagoatness, and we have to keep saying that because we know that you like it. But it's been Dots and Dash that have been the standout performers for Team 1 that are both having, I don't want to say sluggish games. Dash hasn't been having a great game. Dots is fine, but Maya's been, I think, in the roles that Maya's been playing, the one player who has not shown up for Team 1 in this match. And it's the opposite of what we saw in Cafe. On Cafe, the gun duels, it seemed like Team 1 could not lose in a heads-up 1v1. Now it's the other way around. It's Team 1 that are struggling.
It is. I mean, Dash has 3 kills right now on the Nuke, but he got the opening kill on Valkyrie, spawn peeking Canadian in that very opening round of Theme Park. Has only gotten 2 kills since then, so it's almost like the Panda treatment. If you can't find success immediately at the moment, well, pick out like a flexible operator there, play for yourself, walk around the map, try and find your way. Dash is doing just that with the Nuke, and it's going to be problematic for DarkZero if they allow too much space. So once again, the name of the game is going to be aggression, trying to stop the attackers from getting to where they want to be in the map, shut down their entries, or at the very least contest them, make it difficult for them, and burn down their drones. Top right of our screen, we see 9 drones alive for Team 1. But they've spent almost half the round and no one's really inside the building when it comes to their players. So while they have information, they can't really act upon it just yet. And we do see multiple members of DarkZero playing a 2-2 formation, meaning that there's a trade somewhere with a single member on the bomb side, just making sure that no one sneaks in.
Bunk defense upstairs, Dash on Nook. This is an operator that we've seen once before. Is Pambazoo on this? I don't know if the Nook was a crucial component of DZ's success when they won that round, but Maya, as I talked about, has been a bit of a disappointment for Team 1 and will only get worse. DarkZero again open things up. A big pick. They trade out. NJR goes down, but so does Dash. DZ still ahead in numbers. The Nook is off the board. That experiment lasted all but the final minute of the round. Now Team 1 with drones still available. They'll wait, and the Oryx gets caught out. Eclipse takes out Rise, so again they trade back and forth, but Dots, after slaying Canadian, has his fate assigned in by Hyper. Eclipse is there! DarkZero, they're slow, they're sluggish, but they're winning these rounds, and it's a match point for DZ.
And they're looking good doing it, because right now they are doing exactly what they had to do. Go off your fundamentals, that is structured, boring, predictable gameplay for Team 1, and just play aggressive and utilize your gunners, and it's working for them. Team 1 are struggling now at what I believe they're the best at. Those individual 1v1 gunfights, playing aggressive, and it's mostly because, as you mentioned, Parker, the entry players of Team 1, which on the attacking side, it's Maya and Dash, they aren't really showing up. They're getting shut down by the opposition, by Hyper, by Pambazoo, every single time. And we're gonna see if DC can keep up, well, increasing the rate of lap now, because since Team 1 lost it when they tried their turn, it is no longer at a 100% win rate, unfortunately.
Unfortunately is correct. An interesting bomb site to hang your hat on, knowing that you're on match point. But I will say this, there's plenty of runway for DarkZero. They've got 4 rounds until overtime, and then in OT, you've still got 3 attempts to close it out. DarkZero have not really sweated all that much on this dominant 6-round run that we've seen out of DarkZero, which I would say looks more dominant than what we saw at Team 1 on Cafe. DZ have got the opening pick all but 1 time, and they've done it on a wide variety of bomb sites. So tons of flexibility on this team in terms of roles, but you've got to say the same thing about how they play this map. There doesn't seem to be much of a deficit in DZ's game when it comes to Theme Park, which again is a surprise because they didn't play this map. They hit it, and for good reason.
Team 1 now taking a page out of DarkZero's attacking book, bringing both the Jackal and the Dokkaebi, trying to now again leverage that early round, spend the early utility to put yourself in a winnable position for when that mid-round stage comes through. When we talk about rounds, typically we say there's like 3 stages to it. The beginning is like the early stage, the information stage. You take map control, you join out the rooms. That's what's happening right now. Then stage 2, that's when you know where the bomb site is and you're like usually above it or next to it, and you try and set up, where are we going to be attacking. And then stage 3, that's where things get chaotic, explosive. It's the execute. And you don't always get there, but you always start off somewhere. Hyper starts off around C4 onto Dots. It's Jackal. It's not an important or huge kill, but it does give you the man advantage and does give you more guns than the opponent.
Surprised the crowd didn't cheer more for that. That first blood is
They're
huge
nervous
for DarkZero. I imagine they are. Absolutely. But right now, DarkZero fans have a lot to be proud of with this performance on Theme Park, beating the margins that we saw in the very first map. Team 1 taking it 7-3. This one could be a 7-2 for DZ. Lopsided for the home team, quote unquote, in both directions as they chose the maps, setting us up for Clubhouse to be the ultimate showdown. Give me 15 maps of that and give me it now. We got to get through the final minute though. Nick?
We do. We are in stage 2 right now. This is going to be the setup, right? We got to figure out where does Team 1 want to attack from and how do they want to do it. And so far, honestly, it doesn't look like they have much of an idea going in because they're slowly walking towards the bomb site, but it's going to be from 3 different angles. They're going to the window, Rise bathroom door, and 1-person arcade, and here they go.
And the flashes go out, a smoke for Rise to put him off of his position, trying to tussle with the shield. Down goes Dash, and there's a jump in. Team 1 winning these duels. A 3v3 though, a bit of a stalemate. Diffuser going down. It's a role reversal. DarkZero's outside of the bomb site. It's in control of Team 1. Lagonis sets the clock, 45 seconds. Rise taking damage. Eclipse now, he can potentially fly in under the radar. He doesn't do that. Maya swats him away. DZ with 2 players still left. Team 1 holding on to that diffuser, holding on for hope in this map. They don't want to go quietly into that good night. Hyper giving his position away. Maya just winning all these duels, so Pamba will need to clutch, but Maya's huge inside the site. Team 1 storm in, and the attackers very much like Lab. They're 2-0 between the 2 teams. Team 1 pick up their 3rd round, stave off defeat on Theme Park.
Parker, you asked the crowd why they weren't so cheerful when Hyper got that opening C4 kill. Well, the thing is, just because you're in the lead doesn't mean the round is guaranteed, and out of nowhere, what seemed like a terrible attacking approach of Team 1, they actually have a beautiful end to that round. Their stage 2 looked weak, but their execute was phenomenal. Jump into the window, rush in through bathroom, through that smoke, toss out the flashbangs, get the kill on side. And well, DC, they had 3 roamers, very little bomb site presence. Team 1, they knew that because they keep spending so much time gaining information early on in the round. So they went for the high risk, high reward play of pushing the bomb site itself and just going straight through the map, ignoring those roamers. And it paid off. Doesn't always. Again, DC have many more opportunities to find this final round. They're going to try their luck this time on the Armory Throne bomb site, which is like the staple of Theme Park. You have a, center of the map is the bomb site. You have 2 ways in, plus a hatch if it's open. Then you can roam anywhere else on the map, and you can hide in corners. We saw Panda, when he got his 3K on defense, he was practically just toying around with Team 1, punishing them for not bringing the Jackal. And this round as well, no Jackal from Team 1. They've changed their approach once more. The Nomad is gonna, make sure the flanks are safe, somewhat. The Maverick is going to hint towards a more directive approach because you can get through those walls easier, and there is only really the mute to stop you on the defensive side, so Team 1 really has a ton of different ways they can approach this round. They just have to choose which one.
Heading into this match, those stats for this bomb site, 79% in favor of the defenders, and Hyper might have just given an even higher number. Pambazoo gets killed by Team 1, but DZ still gets an opening pick, even if it is a trade. Hyper can now reposition over by Gong, where 2 silhouettes of Team 1 sits. A bit wary of this position. 5 drones remaining for Team 1, so the information being denied by DarkZero, as that's a minute off the clock, and DZ decides to give up some control around Dragon. Again, 79% of the time, the defense wins this bomb site. It's already been won by the defenders twice so far of the 3 times it's been played. The only team that won it on attack was DarkZero. That's an awfully tall task for Team 1.
It is, and then you lose the Maverick. That's half your grenades. It's the easy path to the wall. Now you have to spend one of your 2 grenades on Maya just to get to the wall. But Canadian, the punishment and the lone player of Dots puts him on the map.
He just knows that he's out there. DarkZero give themselves a numbers advantage. Default Cam still stifling this entry from Team 1 as an exothermic charge goes off. There's a flank. Maya breaks into the bomb site. They realize that most of DZ's artillery is far gone. Canadian picks up 2, keeps it close. NGR with 1. Last man standing for Team 1 in this map. If Rise can't get it done, DZ sends us to Clubhouse. In goes a flash. 2 bodies for Rise to find. 1 to the left, 1 to the right. They set up a nice crossfire. He's as good as dead behind the throne. Do you want to play King? Bait out the diffuser. DZ need to get in close as they can as Rise falls off. He looks to the left. Smoke will obscure him. Sees one, but NJR says no thanks. We go to map 3. DarkZero takes their map by the same scoreline that Team 1 took theirs.